All right, well, it is Sunday, the 8th of January. I'm Phil Darlington, the multimedia editor at Excalibur, and today I'm joined by Alex Wagstaff, who is our managing editor. So the topic today is actually based on a bit of an opinion piece that I wrote, which will appear under my blog section, The Strawberry Filter, on the Excalibur website. And the piece is titled Life and Liquor. Now, just to break down what the article states is I got into a bit of a discussion with one of my relatives over some Christmas dinner about what should be done in regards to the drinking and driving laws and how to prevent people from doing stupid things behind the wheel after consuming liquor or being intoxicated by some other substance. The article broke down my opinion and my view that the current system is fine the way it is. I believe in sort of more the survival of the fittest, and I don't really think there's anything wrong with the way the current system handles people who choose to get intoxicated and then get behind the wheel. For me, if someone is stupid enough and ignorant enough to do something like that and they wrap their car around the tree and kill themselves, you know what? The world is better off. We're down one idiot. And if they kill someone, that's really unfortunate, and I feel very badly for the family of the person or persons who are affected by that, or the victims. But again, how many of you see this or hear this on the radio or see this on the TV on a day-to-day basis and say, oh, that's really unfortunate, and then carry on with your lives? So I don't think that the way things are right now needs to be changed. Alex, what do you think?
Just before we start, I thought it might be interesting to disclose each of us hold valid driver's licenses and have driven a fair bit. I think, Phil, you probably drive a fair bit more than I do nowadays, though, because I mostly bike now that I've moved to Toronto.
Yeah.
As far as what you're talking about, I think that it's true that a lot of the measures that have been taken so far are really key, but I still think that there's a ways to go in terms of, number one, enforcement, actually enforcing the laws as they are on the books. And second, there needs to be more of an information campaign to really drive it home that it's simply unacceptable to do this kind of stuff, to drive drunk like this. I think that a successful campaign like that is something like anti-smoking bans. They're pretty successful. Smoking rates keep going down, and I think we've seen a lot of success with that. But as long as we have a state that is concerned about the welfare of its citizens and about the health of its citizens, then our state has an obligation to kind of show us the best way and at least encourage better behavior from its citizens.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd like to point out at this point, according to the Government of Canada, or Transport Canada, between 1990 and 2009, the amount of fatalities, serious injuries, and injuries in general that were related to motor vehicle accidents, and that includes not only cars, but trucks, motorcycles, anything else that can go on the road legally, the numbers have actually been going down for all of them. In 1990, the number of fatalities was close to 4,000, whereas in 2009, it's just hovering above 2,000 a year, which I think is actually quite good. It shows that the measures that have been put in place are working. Vehicles are becoming safer. I think it's fair to say that drivers are becoming more responsible. And, because the statistics go on to talk about the number of accidents and injuries and fatalities related to drinking and, wearing a seatbelt and on what kinds of roads. And I think overall people are taking driving more seriously and being more careful on the road.
I would agree with you that fatalities and injuries are definitely going down. I mean, that's clear in the evidence. Where I wouldn't agree with you is perhaps in the causes of that. I think that along with changing behavior, we also have a case of, in this same period, we see some of the highest gas prices in history, especially in North America. I think this is discouraging people from driving, and we have fewer people on the roads, getting into these accidents in the first place. To simply assume that less accidents means less drunk driving is a little bit of a leap, and it's not one I'm comfortable making.
Well, if we scroll down to, I'm actually on the Government of Canada's website right here for Transport Canada. We go down and it talks about the percentage of fatally injured drivers tested and found to have been drinking between the years of 1990 and 2009. It has been going down a little bit. Actually, 1999 overall, the levels were lower. But if there is a sort of a trend that we can see of the numbers going down, and it's only in the past few years where it started to climb again. But the whole graph overall sort of goes up and down, but overall it's a downward slope.
Well, it definitely is, and I sure would agree with you, but I think that's merely a sign that the steps we've taken so far are working, and that this kind of work to really make drunk driving more of an important thing, the kind of thing that it's just not acceptable is. I think the conversation has changed a lot over the past 20 years from a discussion of how drunk or anything like that to where it's just not even considered. You either have a DD or you don't drive, and that's I think it's good to see, and we have a lot of programs that are really helping with that. I know for New Year's Eve there was the CAA was doing a free kind of, they would drive you in your car home and all kinds of things. I think that's where the most important things are to be done. I would agree with you, and I think I'm getting you right, is that you don't think there's a big legislative import and maybe a big need for more laws, but I still think that there's an important place to kind of beef up our I don't know, the stigma against drunk driving, because it really is dangerous and unacceptable behavior, and it still is important to me what kind of dangers are out there and what sort of dangers face our citizens. I think that as long as we decide to live in sort of civil society, we have to accept that there are a few rules we got to follow.
Well, of course, but what the point of my article is, and it goes on, it sort of gets a little bit on, I wouldn't say sidetrack, but it sort of takes a slightly different angle, still related about halfway through, and it makes the point that, we just before New Year, we clocked in on the planet's population at 7 billion people, and that's quite a remarkable number, and the reason for that is, or at least part of the reason for that is, we as humans have sort of outwitted Mother Nature in terms of ways that she can remove us from the planet. And I'm not someone who says, oh, we should go out and just mass exterminate people, because that's not at all what I want or believe. But at the same time, I do think that Mother Nature does need to have a way of keeping the balance, and I think I'm right in saying that part of the reason why the world has the problems that it does today is because of overpopulation. A large percentage of the world lives in poverty, and this would probably be greatly reduced if there was fewer people on the planet. What do you think?
I think that the number of people on Earth is certainly, I mean, it's out of hand. It's too many at the moment, or at least it's too much for our current way of thinking and our current infrastructure. I think that there is much too heavy a dependence on cars, and I'm not really sure where exactly we can move with this, but I think that there's more that can be done for health and for housing, and there's more in the way of advancements that we can make before we need to really start making hard decisions about who needs to live and die. I think that once we've run out of progress in those fields, when we've run out of ways to keep it going, I think that maybe that's when we can start thinking about that kind of thing. But I suppose it really does depend, though, on your view of kind of the sanctity of life and whether life has inherent meaning. I can't say that I necessarily do, but I believe in making it as painless as possible, hopefully, for everybody.
Well, we'll leave it there, because this goes far beyond any of our philosophical understandings, if that's even a term. I'm not sure. I'm not a philosopher. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting topic, and we'd be very interested to hear what our listeners have to say. So feel free to either comment on the blog post when it is put up, or on the podcast. Just leave a comment underneath, and maybe we can address this again in the future if some of you have some interesting points.